Hey, got stress? When stress hits, do you power through, shut down, or avoid things? Our first awareness of stress usually shows up as a physical response, causing tension in our shoulders or that nagging neck pain. Maybe we start lashing out at others. It can also affect our mental patterns, causing racing thoughts that can start waking us up at night. These are typical responses to stress. Although our stress patterns become very familiar to us, they're stealing our energy and resilience. Chances are, at least one of these stress reactions could be causing chaos in your well-being right now. Hi, I'm Julee Everett from Opal Coaching. I help people navigate messy stuff to rise stronger and live bolder. I want to introduce you to 5 saboteurs I call chaos patterns. Stress reflexes that steal your capacity, flexibility, and connection when you need them most. Think of them as first responders to stress that overstay their welcome. The good news is there are things we can choose to do when life gets hard. I call these grace patterns. Let's explore the shift from chaos to grace. The C in chaos is for control. When things get hard, do you try to manage everything? Your schedule, outcomes, emotions, maybe even other people? Being busy can feel productive, but in reality, control just tightens everything up, not just the schedule. It actually limits our choices. If you hear yourself saying things like, if I want something done right, I have to do it myself, you may be ready for a resilience shift. The G in grace is for generosity. Instead of control, being a little generous allows for mistakes and some redirections when things don't go to plan or humans don't do what we expect. This requires acceptance and trust in yourself and others that you can gracefully move through the difficulties life brings us. The H in chaos stands for hyper everything. Hyper doing, hyperactive. You power through, stay busy. Or it might be more subtle. Maybe you're fidgeting more, experiencing restlessness, have a very limited attention span. But producing nonstop doesn't mean you're productive. It's often disguised escape. Escaping into doing is a common way to avoid discomfort, but it disconnects us from our own signals and well-being. If you're saying to yourself, I'm just too busy to stop and think about that right now, you may be shutting down self-awareness. The R in grace stands for responding. Instead of reacting to pressure, learn to pause and thoughtfully respond. Ever wonder why you're choosing to tackle the to-do list instead of taking care of the bigger issues? The A in chaos is another kind of avoidance. Instead of being hyper, you shut down. You hope the feelings or the mess just go away. But avoiding discomfort just prolongs it. It can be big and damaging, like any addiction, but it can be more subtle, letting the bills pile up, or not resolving a simmering conflict. If you find yourself saying, I'm just not dealing with that right now, you may be ready for a shift. The A in grace stands for agency. That's the belief in your ability to make choices that influence your life. It can mean taking ownership of the choices you made and their consequences. It could mean making amends. It's the driving force behind choosing to act even when it's difficult. The O in chaos stands for overthinking. Deep thinking could be a strength, but it can backfire under stress, turning into analysis paralysis. A childhood or even a professional situation marked by chronic criticism, conditional approval, or harsh punishments can contribute to thoughts like all or nothing thinking that sounds like, I already missed a couple days, I might as well quit, or mind reading that whispers, what did they mean by that, and spirals us into doubt and fear. These thoughts feel real, but they aren't always true. Resilience begins when we notice the trap and shift our response. Challenging these thoughts involves actively questioning their validity and replacing them with more realistic perspectives. That's the C in grace. The occasional rumination is normal. But if you find yourself having persistent negative thoughts, it may be time to reach out for professional help. When things get hard, some of us go into lone wolf mode. The S in chaos is soloing. If that sounds like you might have caught yourself saying, I don't want to bother anyone with this. That's the voice of the saboteur that turns self-reliance into isolation, and isolation cuts you off from the very support that you need when times are hard. Resilience isn't meant to be a solo act. This shift requires engagement. That's the E in GRACE, and it's a big one. It asks us to embrace vulnerability by connecting with others, even when things are messy. But showing your true self, imperfections included, can foster trust and understanding. What's your chaos pattern? Maybe it's one, maybe it's all five. Resilience isn't a trait we're born with, but we can build it. These simple but effective practices that help us grow more resilience are available to all of us. It's what researcher Ann Maston calls ordinary magic. Practicing grace will create real shifts in how we respond to life's challenges. The first step is awareness. What's your resilience level? You can start building awareness of your current resilience with my free resilience quiz. It helps you identify your saboteurs and strengths. If you'd like to explore if coaching is right for you, schedule a free call to find out. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel for more resilience insights and tools for rising stronger and living bolder. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the saboteurs that cause you chaos instead of grace.